Everyone was getting their assignments following basic training when the captain said he had one more opening for New York. That sounded okay to me, so I volunteered. So this Georgia boy went to Camp Sampson near Geneva, New York. By March the 1st, I was assigned to the USS Alcor, a destroyer tender stationed out of Norfolk, Virginia. Now, we were the only ship in the Navy of our class, and we were the only ones named for a star. The Alcor had about 800 men. It was like a floating factory with machine shops and carpenter shops, torpedo and mine shops. We even had an electric motor shop. There was a complete sick bay with 2 doctors, 4 dentists. There were even barber shops. Everybody had a job to do. We hung behind the destroyers. See, they would go into the fight, and then they would come back. We would resupply them and repair them. Sailors would come off, they'd just be lined up, ready for haircuts. Sometimes we'd have as many as 3 destroyers tied up at one time. You could walk from one deck to the next deck to the next. One time, one of the destroyers caught fire. I watched men with huge hoses as they tried to battle the flames. And when they couldn't get it from the one side, they'd walk across decks and get it from the other side. When we were sent to the Pacific, our ship passed through the Panama Canal and into Pearl Harbor. In Pearl Harbor, we saw the aircraft carrier Franklin return from battle. She'd been hit by 2 500-pound bombs, center deck and aft deck. There were still 300 sailors trapped below deck to be rescued. We knew we were headed into war. A few weeks later, we were at Leyte in the Philippines. One of the first destroyers we helped was the USS Kidd. She'd been banged up by torpedoes and bombs, but she was still floating. Oh, by the way, my job was ship storekeeper. Everything a destroyer needed, we had it on board. We had rows and rows of refrigerated lockers. Our holds were filled with anything you would need, from a toothbrush to cigarettes. We even packed Copenhagen snuff. Those Yankee boys liked that Copenhagen snuff. And the one job I enjoyed making ice cream. The destroyer had its own ice cream machine, but they couldn't make ice cream near as good as we could make. So we had gallons and gallons of ice cream, gave it out everywhere. The sailors loved it. We had Colac paste. It came in these 5-quart jars, these cans. And that's what makes the ice cream so smooth and creamy and tastes so good. I'm telling you, we gave out gallons of it. Though we were not close to the action, we were prepared if we saw battle. I was assigned to battle station number 31. It was a 50 caliber machine gun. I was the first loader, too. I'm happy to say we never had to fire that gun in combat, only for target practice. Which is not to say we didn't have our scary moments. We were offshore at Okinawa one morning when, one by one, all the big ships just fired up their boilers, started out to sea in every direction. Well, we followed. A major typhoon hit. I've never been so scared in all of my life. Huge mountain-sized waves would come up and lift the boat up, and then we'd hear it moaning and wailing, and we would slide down one wave and crash into the next one. It would come over the bow of the ship. I knew if we lost power, we would have sunk for sure. We heard that 12 ships did sink. I was in the mess hall one evening. I was writing letters to home, and I heard this huge commotion up on deck. Sirens were going off, and the searchlights were lighting up the sky. Huge water fountains we had on deck were shooting streams of water up into the air. I found out Japan had surrendered. The war was over. I did my part in the war. I was not on the front lines, but I did whatever I was asked to do, to the best of my ability. I hope that what I did helped win the war. I worked in the ship's stores. I served my country, and I would do it again. I am Seaman First Class, Tom McDaniel.